Good morning everyone, back again, and we're working on our Santa Claus this morning. I'm just busy putting the trim around his sleeve, and I found the easiest way to do this was in fact to put my finger in and stitch it on that way, because it was just way too complicated otherwise. I'm going to do that little notch here quickly, and double knot, so we start, and all I did was I lay my trim on my finger like that, and I just whip stitched it, basically going through, bring it round on the edge and again, and you'll find that that just holds the trim nicely in place. And because I've got my finger there, I'm not stretching the trim and making the sleeve smaller than it's supposed to be. So let's just do that quickly. Bring it around a little, and we can carry on. There we go. Once we get to here, I just trimmed off the excess where I've got a piece from the start, trim that off, and just overlap it slightly and trim it off. And then just to make sure I had anchored the trim on nicely, I went round a second time just to make 100% sure that I have anchored the trim sufficiently. We don't want the trim to start falling off anyway. So let's just go around again. And end off again with a double knot, or double stitch. Not really a knot, it's a double stitch. Right, and trim. Right, just to show you basically what I've done so far, I started my trim halfway down the one front. Now, a little trick of the trade I learned from the embroidery industry is if your white cotton is showing on the back and you don't want it to show, take a red permanent marker and just colour your thread in, and it won't show. Careful not to colour in your trim though, especially where you've got big whip stitches like I have. Just colour them in and they really do disappear. Look at that. Be careful, remember you must use a permanent marker. A normal Koki pen or pen might run if it gets damp or wet. Great! Our Santa's starting to really take shape. Here he is, sitting nicely waiting for his jacket, and I'm going to take him out of his sleigh and slip his jacket on very quickly. There we go. Okay, once we've got Santa in, remember the one front is going to go slightly over the other one, like that. His belt will actually hold us in place there. Don't worry about your neck this side, because remember, you've got this lovely cape that's going to come on there just now as part of his outfit. That's what it's going to look like. Now you'll see his neck is a little bit bigger. Now I did that deliberately because I didn't want to have this extra bulk, which is just going to make it look bulky. I'm going to just catch this with two little stitches. You can use red or white thread. If you're using white, just colour your thread when you finish with a piece of bit of Koki and you won't notice it. Thread my needle quickly. I'm using very fine needles, and remember your trim's got to sort of come down. The bottom one is the overlap, the top one has come down sort of just on the center. I just want to catch it here quickly with a double stitch to keep it in place. And if you want to, you can just do a couple of stitches down just so it holds his outfit together. Carefully don't get through your pants, because when you're making stitches now you're going to want this to be loose. Okay, and you can't see my stitches, make sure that I'm pulling tight, and where the jacket starts curving on the edge, just put a double stitch and snip it off. Right, now I'm not going to worry too much about that neck edge. I know he's looking really strange at the moment, but I promise you once we put his belt and everything on, he will start taking a bit more shape. Great, once we've got him, they'll be pretty happy. Put his belt on. I'm going to actually put his belt on and sort of pull it a little bit tight so it catches where his tummy is. I'm going to glue my belt in place. Nip the extra piece off. Find my glue. And just a thin row of some glue there just to hold it in place. Now you can use black ribbon for this as well if you prefer the effect of the ribbon. There, so it's just under his tummy and it's sort of nice and loose. I'll just grab one of my pins and hold it in place. Your clothes peg will work far better there just to hold it there. Right, while that is busy drying, I'm just going to show you, I've done my cape. I've gone right the way round with my edging, and I'm going to do Santa's cap now, right the way round, and then I'm going to make a little pom-pom for the edge of his cap. Now to do the pom-pom, it's actually easy. All we need to do is wrap a bit of your thread like that around your finger, quite a lot, depending how big a pom-pom you want, and get some white, or I'll use the red thread because I've got it already threaded here. I'm going to put it in the middle and just tie it as tight as I can in the middle. Leave yourself a long enough tail that you can tie it. And we can then just open up where our edges were and trim off our pom-pom. Don't cut your thread off. You'll see I used different colour thread so that I wouldn't make that mistake. I've done it before. And there we go. Now just take your pom-pom and trim off all that excess that doesn't quite fit into the round bit, because you'll have a bit of it. But eventually, if you don't trim too much, you'll end up with quite a nice little pom-pom. It's a bit big. I want to just trim it down a little. You'll see I keep pushing my fingers flat and sort of trimming in a circle. Just keep doing that. Eventually you'll get it the size that you're happy with. And then when you've done that side, just put it flat the other way and trim off again where it's not round. And eventually when you sort of fluff your pom-pom up, you'll see where all your bits are that shouldn't be there. And you can sort of trim it down until you've got it to a small size that you're happy with. Right. Throw all these bits and pieces out here quickly. Dustbin. And once you're happy with your pom-pom, just stitch it on the edge here. I'm going to double stitch it quickly, and then I'm going to use that tail to do a double knot just to secure it in place. Once we're done, we can just snip those two off, but a double knot so it shouldn't come undone. And there already you can see Santa's cap coming to life. I'm going to do the edge of his cap quickly. I'll be back shortly. Again, take your red coatie and just, especially on his cape, which might lift up, just colour in the white threads so that you don't see them. See how nice and easy that is? And it really gives you such a good effect because you then don't see your stitching. Okay, all my white's gone, and it's ready to go on his neck when we get to that stage. Great, I want to do my cap. I'm going to just start with a double stitch here. I always start with a double stitch, it just anchors it nicely. And again, on the right angle, just anchor it on that edge. Now you may, if you want a fuller trim on his hat, go around twice. I'm going to do that just to give us a nice full effect. Just want to go around, carefully not pulling it too tight. I'm just going to slip my fingers in there so that I can work. There we go. And just keep catching the edge of your trim and the edge of your cap. Now I've made Santa's cap nice and long so they can actually hang into the back of our sleigh.